The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. The Karamazov Discord. In the small, bustling town of Skaroprigonyevsk, the Karamazov family's notoriety was as rampant as the wild thorns and overgrown weeds in the chaotic garden that ensnared their estate, a living testament to Fyodor Pavlovich's tumultuous existence. Amidst the tangled branches and unruly flora, the three sons of Fyodor navigated the labyrinth of their father's neglect and deception. Dmitri, the eldest, known affectionately as Mitya, was a man whose passions burned as fiercely as the unruly auburn locks atop his head. Childhood memories of whispered promises and the jingle of gold coins in his father's vault had fueled his belief in a grand inheritance. These memories, now tainted with the bitter realization of deceit, haunted Mitya like specters in the night. On a fateful evening, Mitya confronted Fyodor in the study, a room where shadows danced with the flames of the fireplace. "Father, the time has come to discuss my inheritance," Mitya declared, his voice trembling with a cocktail of hope and dread. Fyodor, reclined in his armchair, regarded his son with a sardonic smile. "My dear boy, haven't you indulged in enough luxury at my expense? What more could you possibly desire? The estate you vowed would be mine, a future." Mitya's voice cracked, his hands balled into fists as he fought to keep the rising tide of fury at bay. With a dismissive wave, Fyodor's laughter echoed through the room. "Promises are but whispers in the wind, my son. You've had your fill, and more." The cruel truth washed over Mitya, leaving him adrift in a sea of wasted fortunes and mounting debts. The future he had envisioned, once so vivid and promising, now lay before him, a shattered illusion. "Ivan, the middle brother," observed the heated exchange with a philosopher's detachment. His world, constructed of literature and intellectual pursuits, seemed a universe away from the petty quarrels of inheritance. Yet the sight of Mitya's despair stirred an unexpected empathy within him. Alyosha, the youngest, lingered in the doorway, his presence as unobtrusive as a whisper. His journey, illuminated by the teachings of the venerable elder Zosima, had instilled in him a profound understanding of the human heart. "Brothers, let us not fracture under the weight of our father's machinations. We are bound by blood, a connection far more enduring than any ephemeral wealth," Alyosha spoke, his words infused with the serenity of his spiritual learning. Mitya's gaze shifted from the smirking visage of Fyodor to the earnest faces of his brothers. The anger in his eyes dissolved into a profound sorrow. "Alyosha, your words ring true. Yet how does one forge a path when every step was built on falsehood?" Ivan, placing a comforting hand on Mitya's shoulder, imparted a quiet strength. "We must each discover our own truth, Mitya. Not in the faltering promises of our father, but in the choices we make and the lives we carve for ourselves." Thus the tempest of discord within the Karamazov household subsided, not with the clarity of financial resolution, but with the recognition that the ties of kinship transcended the allure of fortune. It was a bitter lesson, yet one that would indelibly shape the brothers' destinies. The Monastery's Beacon. The morning sun cast a golden glow over the monastery as Alyosha made his way to the hermitage. The air was filled with the scent of incense and the soft murmur of prayers. As he walked, he pondered the lessons of Elder Zosima, whose wisdom seemed to permeate the very walls of the place. Alyosha entered the hermitage and found Zosima seated in a modest room, a small crowd gathered around him. Fyodor Pavlovich was among them, and his presence contrasted sharply with the tranquil setting. "Alyosha, come closer," beckoned Zosima with a gentle smile. "We were just discussing the virtue of honesty." Fyodor Pavlovich snorted. "Honesty? In this world? You might as well ask a wolf to be a shepherd." The room fell silent at his words, but Zosima remained calm. "Fyodor Pavlovich, It is precisely in this world that honesty is most needed. It is the light that guides us through darkness. Alyosha watched as the elder spoke, his words reaching out to everyone in the room, soothing the tension. As the day progressed, the hermitage became a place of confession and counsel. Peasants, nobles, and monks alike sought Zosima's wisdom. Alyosha observed as each person left lighter than when they arrived, their burdens eased by the elder's words. The chapter concluded with Alyosha reflecting on the day's lessons, feeling a renewed sense of purpose and a determination to live up to the ideals of his beloved mentor, Elder Zosima. Conflicts and convictions. In the dimly lit room of the Karamazov estate, the tension was palpable. Even the middle brother sat across from his younger sibling, Alyosha, who had just returned from the monastery. The air was thick with the weight of unspoken conflicts and the burden of convictions that each brother carried. Alyosha began, his voice steady but filled with concern. "I've been thinking about what you said last time, about God and the suffering in the world." Ivan looked up, his eyes reflecting a storm of thoughts. "Yes, Alyosha, and I stand by it. How can we accept a world where innocent children suffer? If God exists, he is either not omnipotent or not benevolent." Alyosha sighed. "But isn't it possible that we cannot see the whole picture? That there's a greater plan we're not privy to?" "Plans?" Ivan scoffed. "Tell that to the child who cries out in the night. No, if such a plan exists, it's beyond my acceptance." Their father's sudden entrance cut through the philosophical debate. "Ivan, always with your head in the clouds," Fyodor Pavlovich mocked. "Why concern yourself with such abstractions when there are more pressing matters at hand?" Before Ivan could retort, a commotion outside drew their attention. It was Mitya, the eldest brother, his voice loud and filled with urgency. "Father, we must speak." Fyodor Pavlovich's sneer was evident. "Speak then, Mitya. What pressing matter drags you here?" Mitya's entrance was forceful, his face a canvas of resolve. "It's about the future, Father, about how we shape it. It's time we addressed the true cost of our actions." The room fell silent, the gravity of Mitya's words settling like dust. Alyosha rose, embodying the peace he had learned from Elder Zosima. "Let us find a path forward together as a family." The stillness was shattered by Grushenka's entrance, her silhouette framed by the doorway like a painting come to life. "Such solemn faces," she remarked, her voice a melody that danced through the room. "But life is not meant to be so grave." Mitya's gaze was unwavering. "Grushenka, this is serious. Our choices now will echo through our lives." Grushenka's laugh was light, yet it carried the weight of truth. "Then let us choose wisely, Mitya, for we are the authors of our own stories." The Karamazov family stood at a crossroads, each member poised to take a step that would alter their shared destiny. Fyodor Pavlovich's cunning, Ivan's search for truth, Alyosha's quest for harmony, Mitya's pursuit of love, and Grushenka's enigmatic allure were all threads in the tapestry of their lives, weaving a narrative that would challenge their deepest convictions. A garden of redemption. In the monastery garden, Mitya paced, troubled. Alyosha observed, then spoke. "Your heart seems heavy. Speak to me." "Alyosha, Grushenka. I yearned for her," Mitya confessed. Alyosha offered comfort. "What of your feelings?" "I'm uncertain of love," Mitya admitted. "Is it passion or duty?" Their father's figure loomed, laughter echoing. Mitya's anger flared. Alyosha counseled, "We respond to actions, not control them." Mitya considered this. I must choose my path. He stepped forward, seeking clarity and purpose. The garden, once conflicted, now symbolized hope and the potential for change. The pursuit of affection. Dmitry Karamazov, a man of fiery passions, wandered the streets, his thoughts consumed by Grushenka. The turmoil of his emotions was not for his father, Fyodor Pavlovich, nor their past conflicts over inheritance and affections. Instead, Dmitry's mind was ablaze with a singular purpose: to prove his worth to Grushenka and to himself. His previous confrontations with his father were now mere echoes in the chambers of his resolve. The inheritance, once a symbol of his strife, had lost its grip on him. Dmitry's focus was on the future, on the redemption he sought through labor and honor, not through claims of birthright. As he approached Grushenka's residence, his heart was not loud with conflict, but with determination. He knocked, not with the desperation of a man scorned, but with the confidence of one who has a plan. When Grushenka appeared, her eyes met not a rival of his father, but a man standing on his own merits. Grushenka, Dmitry spoke. I am not here to dwell on past grievances or to lament over what could have been. I stand before you as a man who has found a path to honor, not through inheritance, but through the toil of my own hands. I have secured a position at the mines, where I will earn our fortune with sweat and perseverance. Grushenka listened, her stance reflecting the gravity of his words. Dmitry Fyodorovich, you speak of change, of a future forged by your own doing. This is a Dmitry I have not known. With resolve, Dmitry continued, I have cast aside the shackles of my debts. I have arranged to repay every creditor, not with the ill-gotten gains of my father, but with the honest fruits of my labor. This is the honor I seek, the honor I will bring to our name. Grushenka's expression softened, her voice no longer a whisper but a murmur of consideration. Mitya, you have indeed changed. Your dreams are now grounded in reality, and your promises carry the weight of action. Dmitry's journey was no longer a pursuit of affection alone. It was a quest for self-improvement, a testament to his character's growth. With Grushenka's acknowledgement, he stepped into the night, not to confront his father, but to embark on the honorable life he had pledged to build. His heart was steady, his purpose clear, and his future with Grushenka now a tangible dream within reach. Dmitry Karamazov had begun his true journey towards redemption. Alyosha's compassion. In the small, dimly lit room of the Karamazov house, Alyosha sat quietly. The tension in the air was palpable as Dmitry paced back and forth, a mix of emotions evident in his stride. Why must everything be so complicated, Alyosha? Dmitry exclaimed, his voice filled with exasperation. Alyosha looked up, his gaze gentle. Life is often a tangled web, Mitya, but every knot can be untied with patience and understanding, he replied softly. Dmitry stopped and looked at Alyosha, his expression softening. You always know what to say, brother. Alyosha rose and placed a comforting hand on Dmitry's shoulder. Let's sit down together. You can tell me everything that's troubling you. The door creaked open and their father, Fyodor Pavlovich, stumbled in, his face flushed. Ah, my son's always so serious. Lighten up, will you? He slurred. Dmitry's face darkened, but Alyosha intervened. Father, we were just having a moment of brotherly conversation. Fyodor Pavlovich waved a dismissive hand and left as abruptly as he had entered. Dmitry sighed, the tension leaving his body. Alyosha, how do you remain so calm? It's not about remaining calm, Mitya. It's about understanding and compassion, Alyosha said, his voice steady. They sat in silence, each lost in thought. Alyosha then spoke with a hopeful tone. Let's focus on what we can do, Mitya. And so, they talked into the night, Alyosha's compassionate heart guiding them through the darkness. The Olive Branch. In the small, snow-covered town of Skaroprigonievsk, a group of schoolboys gathered around their friend Ilusha, who lay ill in bed. The room was filled with whispers and the occasional cough from Ilusha, who watched his friends with tired but hopeful eyes. Kolya Krasotkin, the ringleader of the boys, paced back and forth, his mind racing with plans and worries. "We need to do something," he declared, stopping abruptly. "Ilusha needs our help, and we can't just stand here doing nothing." Smorov, a boy of quieter disposition, nodded in agreement. "But what can we do, Kolya? We're just kids, and the doctors say his condition is serious." Kolya's face hardened with determination. "We'll raise money for his treatment. We'll show everyone that we can make a difference." As Alyosha Karamazov entered the room, his presence brought a sense of calm. "I heard about your plan," he said, smiling gently at the boys. "I'm here to offer my support and guidance." The boys looked at Alyosha with a mix of surprise and admiration. Despite his young age, Alyosha had a way of making everyone feel heard and important. "Really, Alyosha? You'd help us?" Kolya asked, his usual bravado softening. Alyosha nodded. "Of course, but remember, the strength to make a change lies within yourselves." At that moment, a new figure stepped into the room, Mr. Petrovich, the town's clockmaker. Known for his intricate craftsmanship and kind heart, he offered to create a special timepiece to auction for Ilusha's cause. The boys, inspired by Mr. Petrovich's generosity, worked alongside him, learning the art of clockmaking. They crafted a beautiful clock, its ticking a reminder of the preciousness of time and the urgency of their mission. The fundraiser was a quiet affair, with the boys sharing Ilusha's story through heartfelt letters sent to distant relatives and friends, avoiding the strained gazes of the townsfolk. As the chapter closed, the boys sat in contemplative silence around Ilusha, reflecting on their journey. They had not changed the world, but they had ignited a spark of hope in their friend's heart. It was a small act, yet it held the weight of the greatest kindness. And in that moment, they understood the true meaning of compassion, not through grand gestures, but through the silent ticking of a clock, marking the time of a friendship bound by love and solidarity. The moral convictions. In his modest room at the monastery, Alyosha is consumed by thoughts of his family's plight. Resolved to address the matter, he seeks out Ivan. In his study, Ivan is immersed in contemplation, the gravity of their father's untimely demise evident in his demeanor. Alyosha broaches the subject. "Ivan, we must reconcile with father's untimely departure." Ivan's gaze lifts, a mix of skepticism and contemplation in his eyes. "Reconcile? He left us nothing but disdain," he retorts. "Yet he gave us life. Mitya's fate is entwined with his actions, not his debts. We mustn't let this fracture us further," Alyosha implores, his empathy unwavering. Ivan, conflicted, turns aside. "Mitya's temper is his own undoing," he mutters. Alyosha, undeterred, reaches out. He is our kin. In his darkest hour, he needs our unity. Will you join me in seeking him out? After a pause, Ivan concedes for our kinship. "Yes. I'll stand with you." United, they venture into the night, on a quest to mend their bond with Dmitri and restore the Karamazov legacy. As they traverse the darkness, a new challenge looms, a mysterious figure tracking their every move, threatening to unveil secrets that could alter their lives forever. Amidst this, Alyosha's resolve is bolstered by the belief that love and unity can illuminate the path ahead. Ivan, though wrestling with his philosophical doubts, finds a semblance of purpose in this familial crusade. Together they step forward, not just as brothers, but as beacons of hope for their troubled lineage.